Good morning, everyone. This is Tony from Her Homestead Skills, and I do have my second batch of carrots on the dehydrator. I have at least another one, possibly a fourth one. So, and when that's done, there's going to be other things to do, and I also want to can up some more chicken stock. I have some in the freezer, which I should pull out, and yeah, take the meat off the bones, and make chicken stock with what's left over. Now, I had a very interesting question from a poster that I want to comment on, and coming from a very young person, I found it very profound. Very thoughtful young person who says, I'm 20 years old, and I really would like to know what I should learn first because I want to help my family during this coming storm. So number one, this young individual has recognized that there could be trouble ahead, which too many young people just ignore. They think that even if there is trouble, there's always somebody else going to look after them, and that's not necessarily the case. And the fact that she wants, she, I believe it's a she, wants to be helpful. She wanted to know, first and foremost, what was the most important skill set that she could learn. And she has been given quite a number of very valuable ones, like learning how to make bread, learning how to can, whether it's both water bath canning and pressure canning, so learning how to preserve food, learning how to garden, and all these things are absolutely valuable, and this is what I try to teach people on my site, and not necessarily that they should do things the way I do it, but that they should learn how to do some of these things for themselves. Oh, and yes, sewing might be another one that was not mentioned, but would be another valuable skill. But from my perspective, what hasn't been mentioned, and what I think is probably first and foremost, is learning how to adapt to changing times and learning to let go of preconceived notions of how life should be. Learning how to sacrifice. Too many believe that life should always go on. I mean, they've been looked after and life should always go on like this, and they should be comfortable and nobody should rock their little boat. And unfortunately, life is not like that. When you least expect it is when your boat gets rocked very, very heavily. So, what are you willing to sacrifice? And I'm not saying that you may have so much that it's easy for you. You may have nothing, but even from nothing, what are you willing to give up beyond that? And yes, we have people on my channel telling me, well, I can't do anything already because I'm in this situation or that situation. But unfortunately, we are all going to have to adapt. I guess that would be the main thing. So the times, they change, they constantly change. Nothing ever stays the same. And the sooner a person recognizes that, yes, what has been comfortable and what you've adjusted to over the last 2, 3, 5, 10 years, well, actually before that, we know that the last 2 years have brought serious change. And if anyone thinks we're going back to pre-pandemic times, we won't. There will be some things that may go back to normal, but there will be plenty of changes. Okay, in the past 2 years, we've all been asked to adapt to a change that did occur within a world society. I think that's still going to continue. It won't be pandemic related. At this point, the next issue seems to be food related, and the ability for the world to produce enough food based on all kinds of factors. So yeah, how do we adapt to that change where it was always comfortable and you knew you were going to have food? Now, not every country was in that position. Now we're beginning to see what maybe some of these other countries that have dealt with famine are going to deal with. I don't believe in North America that we are going to reach that level, but there's no guarantee. In life, there's never a guarantee. And I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news lately, but it seems that as though more governments are toppling. Either leaders are being asked to resign or are resigning voluntarily, or they are being forced to resign. Okay, and one of the latest governments to collapse is Italy's coalition government, and the prime minister resigned, and then he was told he can't resign. So I don't know what's going to come out of that one, but more and more of these situations are occurring as time goes on. We know last week England's leader resigned unwillingly, but he did. Well, there are lots of reasons for it, but I don't expect that that will I expect that that will continue. That process will continue to accelerate. So if it gets chaotic, then what do you do? Okay, so how good are you at thinking on your feet? Should a situation arise that you've never had to deal with in the past, or an emergency type situation where cool heads need to prevail, how capable are you of handling that kind of situation? I do remember years back, Mark and I were having a lovely lunch at an outdoor type environment that faced the street. Actually, it was fairly back from the street, but it faced the street. And unfortunately, right in the middle of our lovely summer lunch, there was a horrific motorcycle accident right in front of us. And sadly, it was not the motorcycle rider's fault. It was the individual in the car. But the fellow on the motorbike was pretty seriously hurt, and Mark was the first one on the scene. And he whipped off his belt and tied the man's leg to stop it from bleeding. And he held on until paramedics arrived and a nurse. I think a nurse was the first one to come and help him. But he was there until they literally took him away. And I think that poor fellow may have lost his leg anyway, but at least he didn't lose his life. Now, all I could do was stand there and watch. It was something that personally I probably would not have been able to deal with. But Mark was pretty cool, level-headed, and he did what he felt was needed at the moment. Tried to keep the fellow calm and prevent him from getting up. The fellow did try to get up, and he said, no, stay there. Your help is coming for you. And yes, how many of us are able in situations. Now, that one is unusual. Many of us will never have to face anything like that. But loss of homes, loss of jobs, this is something we all face sooner or later. A change of home, like you may have to downsize. How good are you at giving up all these lovely things that you never thought you would have to give up? So these are probably some of the things that we will be facing in the future. Once again, I don't really believe that we will go hungry in this country. We may have to eat less, and that might not hurt too many of us. We might have to change our eating habits. And I, for one, will never eat a bug, not intentionally anyway, so to heck with that one. Yes, what changes are you going to have to make, and can you make them? And can you make them without grumbling and adapt and be happy? Because that's the important part. Being happy when you're going through trials, when you're going through difficulties, is always, that is a skill. And I laud this youngster for wanting to understand what they can do. And she has to decide for herself what she feels is the best thing that she can offer her family. When it comes down to it, that is the reality. What does the family need, and is that something that she can provide? If it isn't, don't beat yourself up. If it is, great, then pitch in and help. You know, each one has talents, each one has gifts, and as long as you all work together to help each other, a family will survive. Okay, this is Tony from her Homestead Skills, and I would suggest that this youngster is already a blessing to her family. So, have a great day.